What do you want young artists, especially young Black men in R&B, to learn from your longevity?
Number one, stay authentic, like you said. Always be true to who you are as a person. People don't understand. I think a lot of people, and especially as Black men, don't understand that the fake facade is not what people are attracted to. It's that unique, different part of you that, like, your mother gets to see, your family gets to see, the smile, the laugh, the
Right.
weirdness, and if you're nerdy, that's what people really gravitate toward.
Exclusive interviews, global voices, real stories.
Welcome to Worldwide Entertainment TV, and I am your New York and Atlanta host, Miss Goldie. That's Miss Goldie to you. You know, I always come with the exclusives. You're going to get tired of me hearing that, so just know it. Right now, I have the pleasure of welcoming to WWETV Live, Mr. Darnel Alexander. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Super excited and grateful that you are having me on your show.
It's a pleasure. It is definitely a pleasure. So, you've been singing for over 30 years, but your voice still hits with the purity and passion of someone who just discovered their gift. When did you first know music wasn't just a talent, but a calling?
I could feel it more when I graduated from high school and started getting out in the world, and when I started recording music, I definitely made the connection of creating something new. Um, you know, Being inspired by those who came before me, and I'm in the studio creating new music. That's when I really started feeling it in my soul. When I was like, "This is my sound. This is my voice."
Yes.
Back in the early '90s.
The early 90s. Growing
You
up
know,
in
the
Seattle,
'90s, the '90s hit like no other.
90s hit. And we've been talking to a lot of artists from the 80s and 90s, the
Yeah.
early 90s, I'll say. And that's when music was music. And I mean, I'm not saying anything about anyone because I don't want people to say, I always say something about, negative about the new music. It's just, it just was a different time and era. And I see that starting to come back.
Yeah.
Growing up in Seattle, a city with such a unique musical identity, how did your environment shape your sound, discipline, and artistry?
Yeah, Seattle's great. So Seattle's like a metropolis of multicultural. It's just a vibe, right? So you've got all these different people, all working to, achieve something great. You could just feel it in the atmosphere. And just getting out, discovering all the different talent in the area, helped me to develop and really, focus in on what I do best. Uh,
Right.
And what I would say is, music was always a part of my life growing up. My mom
Mhm.
was always playing music all the time in the house. And I'm listening to this stuff like, man, I could feel this in my soul. But I had really started singing like around the house. I mean, my mom probably didn't know I could really sing until all of a sudden she's like, "What are you doing, talent shows now?"
It seems that family is always the last ones to discover that we're talented. The rest of the world might love you,
Yeah.
and family is like, "You be doing what?"
Yeah. You what? Where
Like,
were you
"What do
at?
you mean? I'm all over the world. What do you mean?"
Yeah. Yeah. And,
I get
but,
that all the
growing up to like, the classics, the Teddy Pendergrass, the LTD, the Stephanie Mills, the Patti LaBelle, Luther, all of that stuff.
It was a time.
It was a time, right? And so,
It was a time.
um, then growing up in the '90s, making my own music, um, that just I had a hunger, to see what I could do and to try to find my place amongst all those other, talented people. And now, at this age, I'm like, I want to find myself amongst the greats. So I have a whole different perspective on the music I want to do,
Mhm.
how I want people to perceive me and my sound, and that stuff.
Right, right. So looking back at young Darnell in group rehearsals, talent shows, and local venues, what part of that young man is still inside you today?
Man, the drive, like I'm still willing to stay up at all hours of the night to try to get something done when it comes to a project. And, that's no different than when I was 25, go to work, stay in studio, go back to work, not even sleep, you know? But now I need to sleep. Otherwise I'd be looking crazy. So, and acting crazy.
So the
You know what I
drive
mean?
is
So,
important.
but yeah, I mean, that part of me, that drive, that magic is still inside me. Like I still feel the magic and the butterflies when I'm working on a song that really I believe in and I feel like is, me.
Right, the passion. Your
Passion,
journey
yeah.
began with Third Level. What
Yeah.
what did those early days teach you about teamwork, humility, and the grind behind becoming an artist?
Well, luckily for me, I was with a group of guys who were very driven, motivated, positive also. So they helped instill confidence in me. The guys who really just kind of called me in and said, let's make some dope music together
Mhm.
and see what happens. That experience, they were a little bit older than I was. They were in college, or I think they hadn't even graduated from college, but they really helped me to try to find find my footing in the R&B world. And not only that, but they pushed me, to the limit. You're in the studio and they're like, nope, 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 keep going,
That kinda team.
wait for it.
People have a lot of yes people that just agree with them, and and you gotta tell people the truth because have people around you for a reason to make you great, not to just sit there and agree. Because
Yeah.
I listen to some of this music and say they don't have any friends.
And it's really like those people pushing you to the point where that emotion comes out on the
Yeah,
project. And they're like, that's the part, that's the one that's going to, win you a Grammy, or that's the one that's going to really sell the records, is that little piece that I pushed you to the limit to do.
I
And
love it.
I support that. I support people who push you out of your comfort zone, who believe in you, and they're doing it from a place of love. So
Right, right, right. So you later joined Second Nature, and together you all hit the Billboard Hot 100.
yeah, that was pretty dope.
Dream few artists ever reach. What do you remember about the moment you realized we charted? We really did it.
It's so weird, trying to get back into that mindset. All I remember was like, that's great. You're just, I don't know I really didn't know what to say about it. You're always in a mindset of, that's cool, but we want to be here, or that's great, but we're still not like, even today, I'm like, I'm looking outside of the
Uh-huh.
window of the people in the store, like I'm close, but I'd like to be, rubbing shoulders and having a lifestyle of delivering good music to people forever. But I did have great experiences. We performed with Patti LaBelle. We did some stuff with Boyz II Men and
Yeah.
Latifah and Mike Montel Jordan, all those people from that era. Um, the Apollo and all this stuff. So, I just took it all with a grain of salt because I knew that this was a marathon, not a sprint. And even today, I still feel the same way.
Yeah, you gotta keep it going. Second Nature's music video aired on BET's Midnight Love, a major look at that time. How did that exposure change the trajectory of your career?
It actually didn't. Let me tell you what. I will say that was the scariest moment ever because you're on national TV and we're performing live in the studio for Midnight Love. And after that, after we performed our song, I felt better, but it's really nerve wracking to perform in front of a camera and there's no one there, but there's people there, right? So
Yeah.
I think that part of the experience is what helped me mature as an artist is, you're taking it seriously, you're taking your craft seriously. And back then, you better blow, you better be on key, you better sing right or else you ain't popping with the rest of
And
them.
I mean live.
I mean live, yep.
And I
So
mean live. It was
yeah,
no auto tunes. It was no let's hear it after the studio. Like you really had to sing
yeah.
even.
But that's the era I grew up in. It's like you go to the a Luther concert, it sound better in concert than it does on the record, man. You better come with it.
Yeah. So from your perspective, what made Second Nature's harmonies and chemistry so special?
Oh, that's a good question. With Second Nature, we always um considered ourselves like a vocal quartet. No one had a part. Normally like in church, you got parts, you got the sopranos, you got the altos, the tenors, the bass, and we would always switch up parts to make it even more complex and interesting so no one could ever figure out who was doing what. I think that was really the special part of and magic of Second Nature.
Yeah, yeah. That was definitely magical. You've shared the stage with legends Queen Latifah, James Brown,
Yeah.
Mint Condition. I love Mint Condition.
Yeah.
To man, Patti LaBelle. Which moment or mentor left the deepest impact on you and why?
I will never forget performing with Patti LaBelle, and it wasn't necessarily the performance; it was after. And we went to her dressing room, and you know, we know how great she is. She is one of the greats, and to be allowed in her dressing room, and she was so comforting and so down to earth. That will always stick with me forever.
I love that. I
She's like, you know what I mean? Just the real people.
like Auntie Patty, right?
Like, yes, yes, yes.
What's one lesson a legendary artist taught you backstage that you still live by today?
You know, I can't pull one idea yet. I know when I performed on stage with multiple artists, it's rare that you get someone to pull you aside and just give you some wise words. So I didn't really have those experiences back then. It was more like you performed, you had the experience of meeting these people, and trying to understand the dynamics of what they're going through prior to performing and post performances. What I get out of it is basically it's this is you know if you're not doing it because that's who you are, then
Right,
you're not really going to be around that much
right,
longer.
right. Looking at the generations after you, what do you think today's artists are missing that the legends you perform with embodied naturally?
A lot of people say church, but what I would say is a lot of people are missing the dynamic that we went through growing up. A lot back then, parents were involved in their kids' lives in a different way, and the lady down the street had something to say to you. You could pull from so many different experiences.
Right,
Um, the music that I hear today is very cool. It's very smooth, but rarely does it touch my soul in a way that makes me feel emotional to a point where I'm
right,
like, I'll never forget the moment I heard that song when.
right.
I think that's what we're really missing. It's a
And
lot
that's
of
a
vibe.
great answer.
It's a lot of harmonies. It's a lot of vibe. I mean, the tuning, the auto tune stuff it makes them sound perfect. But I
Right,
think I think it's the way that people sang back in the day, the imperfections that really stood out and made people take notice that
yeah,
not only could they sing, but you could tell even when they were pushing past the limit where they'd even get a
right.
crack in there. But you're like, man, I wouldn't try that. But big ups to that singer, for hitting them notes and just going for it.
Right, right. You've recorded jingles for Delilah and Sunday Night Slow Jams,
Yeah,
two of the biggest national platforms in radio. Did you ever expect your voice to touch millions?
no. I would tell you straight up, no, I had no idea. And you're growing up listening to all the oldies and the goodies, and you're like, oh yeah, yeah. Next thing you know, your life starts to reflect what you experienced growing up. So it's weird, it's crazy, but I'm grateful to have those opportunities to be featured on some of these jingles, and even like 92.3 The Beat, LA, and all the urban stations. For a while I was doing a whole bunch,
Mhm.
but now they've called me back up, so I think we might be getting some new jingles popping.
Oh, I can't wait. Make sure you let us know over here at WWETV.
Yeah, I love a good jingle.
What goes into creating a jingle that has to be recognizable, emotional, and memorable in just a few seconds? How do you do that?
It's almost like, remember back in the days when people used to play their demo? You had 30 seconds, maybe 15 to hit them. And that's what the jingles do. They kind of, not the words, the tone, like literally some of the jingles that I would sing, you're coming out the box full tilt. Like you're here. That's really what it is. It's just, making sure that, what you have to say, matters, the way you're saying it,
Right.
singing it, singing it, and then the music itself. And people remember those jingles forever.
Forever. And you never actually think about it. I tell people all the time on TV and jingles and the radio, you never really actually think about who's singing it. You
That's
don't
true.
care what they look like. Don't care if they're fat, skinny, ugly, cute. You never even think about that, but you really know that song and you could sing
Yeah.
it, but you never once say, "I wonder who's singing
Right, right.
that."
Yeah, nobody would ever think I'm the dude is
Yeah, you're only selling that voice. That's all you're selling. Nobody can see anything else behind that. So it has to be voice alone, songwriting alone that captures that. So That's a real special skill right there. You went viral for your Luther Vandross renditions and
Yeah.
your art. And the internet crowned you the voice carrying Luther's spirit with grace. What made you choose Luther, and what does honoring his legacy mean to you personally?
First of all, that's a lot of pressure, right? Um, since I come from the era of all those greats, it's funny because sometimes people will have a negative comment about, me paying tribute to Luther. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to replace him. But what I will say is, you know, we're losing these greats every day.
Yes.
There's someone you turn on the internet, you're like, oh, such and such passed away now. At some point we won't have anybody around that sings like that or to put the show on the way that they used to. So
Right.
to be able to have the opportunity to do Luther tributes, I love it. I love singing his music, and I love the reaction that people get when they're like, "Wait a minute, this dude's really singing this."
Right, because you can't just step out there singing Luther, and if you don't I mean, it could go really bad for anyone that
Yeah,
wants to mess with certain artists. You can't mess with their songs, and if you go out there, I promise you, you better not mess it up.
better not mess it
For
up. You better
the
not mess it up.
internet to
And
crown
you know,
you the voice carrying Luther's spirit. What was your reaction the first time your Luther videos hit thousands, then millions of views?
first of all, that was crazy. So this happened on TikTok. I was singing in a garage, singing so amazing. And when I was doing the video, I wasn't even right in the mood. Like I was like, I just like, but it's like you kind of have to force yourself to do things sometimes, and you don't want to do it, even if you don't want to do it. And went to bed, and next thing I know, I woke up, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what just happened? So it's a very surreal experience. And so then it's like basically, okay, get ready. I don't know what's after this, but we just better be ready for whatever comes.
Like, we just went viral. The
Yeah.
moment people you've had a lot of moments that people have been waiting for, and it's like for you, I could say your work ethic is the biggest part of it. It's like things you've been blessed with milestones and things that people it's like it's just happening to you, you know?
Yeah, I really care,
Mhm.
about what I'm doing. I care about the fans who brought me here in the first place.
Right?
Um, and I care to preserve the legacy and the quality of everyone I do coverage for. But
Right.
obviously, especially Luther has a special place in my heart because when I was growing up, that was when I was down, when I was out, when I was going through, really going through the emotions, he was carrying me, and just in my soul. So there's a special relationship there. And so when I'm doing these tributes, I always want to try to give people the best of that experience, from what we used to listen to when we went to his concerts. And it was just like, oh my goodness.
Amazing. So how do you balance the responsibility of honoring an icon while staying true to your own identity and artistry?
It's funny you say that. I see some of the best artists out there are able to have their own material. And, when it comes to honoring the people that they may do tributes to, like, for example, Ruben Studdard, he has his own sound, but he pays tribute to Luther and people love it. And I think um, I'm giving people original material so they can kind of get a vibe on what I normally do.
Mm,
And when I sing Luther, that's just the best part of my voice that I could give the world.
I love it. You've taken your show on the road performing for audiences who already adore you online. What's the difference between a digital audience and the energy you feel in a room full of people hanging on to every note live?
Yeah, because that's funny. The digital audience, you see the comments, but you can't feel the emotion behind them all the time.
Right.
But every venue I go to, it's always a different experience. They don't know what I'm bringing, and I don't know how they're going to react. So I'm always challenged to see if I can, number one, just give them what they paid for. But number two, I'm hoping every show that I bring a little bit of that magic that was lost to, my delivery when I'm out there performing.
I love it. This is
You know
so
what I mean? Like I want them to feel something.
yeah, because it's the human personal connection that's missing. Like even when you look into an artist before we used to read the album cover,
Yeah, yes, we did.
We had to
Yep.
wait for the magazine to come out to actually see pictures of them, their family. You had to really get to know your favorite
Yeah.
artist. Now, you could just go to their page and then you might find out you don't really like them personally.
That's true. Yeah.
You don't pick out you see them act online or with their family and you
Yeah.
might miss the musical aspect. It was definitely a different type of control that people had over
Yeah.
personal lives,
Yeah.
who they are as an artist.
I think people just need to really live with more intention. I think a lot of people are caught up in, being in the spotlight and trying to get that number one spot, get that paper so they can be, flossy and, show off all the goods. But I think at the end of the day, you got to remember, the people who put you there in the first place, give them what they need. You can do your own stuff later behind closed doors. Keep that,
Yes.
try to carry yourself with some class and some dignity so that people still feel the magic of who you are as an artist and not, get it intertwined with your crazy antics behind the scenes.
And you know what? I feel like artists nowadays, they always say, I'm not a role model. I'm not asking anyone to
That's not their choice.
I'm not asking anyone. You are a role model.
Yeah.
You do have a responsibility to the community and the people that support you
Yeah.
and the fan base that supports you. Because if not for those people that like you and are following you, you won't be who you are. So, of course, maybe people don't want to become role models, but
Yeah.
once you make your life public, you're a public anything, speaker, figure, athlete, artist, whatever you are, you have taken the responsibility to have some kind of something about yourself besides just not caring about.
Well, you got to think a lot of people just lack the purpose. And when you figure out that you do have a purpose, then you also accept the responsibility of saying, you know what, all these people really care.
Right,
It's not like you need to do what everyone says. You just need to understand that you as one person does matters, and it's like a vibration. Just me by myself, I'm affecting all of these different people, in their day, in different ways, right? And I'm aware of that, and it's like you could flip somebody's world around with just the wrong actions. And I think people just don't
right.
realize that it does matter what you do, how you
Yes,
carry yourself, and especially in the Black community, I feel like, we all need to understand that we need to carry ourselves a little bit more dignified and classy.
right.
If that's who we were, in the beginning, why can't we be that way now? You know what I mean?
How did we become this?
Yeah. And it's like, that's fine, folks, but let's get back to what we were.
Excellence, like you said.
Yeah. So I'm just doing my part. And if I can get a few people to like how I move and my vibe,
Right,
um, and affect somebody in a positive way. When I was growing up, that's what I used to do. I'd see people that had that, and I'd be like, I want to be like that. I want to carry myself like that smooth, classy, controlled, emotions under control. Just what I mean?
and not just to blame it all on the younger generation because it was 2 generations before them, and one of them was hit heavily by the crack epidemic.
Yeah, yeah, the epidemic. Yeah,
A lot of moms separated a lot of families. People got raised by grandparents. People got raised by people that hated them and did things
yeah,
to them.
yep,
And then they became parents. So you got 2 generations back that kind of messed up the kids real bad. And
yeah,
now we have children of vipers that we just want to blame it all on them kind of because I
hmm,
stuff on them too. But you also have to look at the source and where these things come from and
yeah,
back in the days, we may have known a good man that had a wife and he was the dad of the family of the kids. And
yeah.
he had a grandmother and they went to church and they had Sunday dinners and you had to respect Mr. and Mrs. So and so. And that has just been
The good old days, right?
the
You know,
good old days.
But so, and it's just like interviews like this, and I'm like, the more visibility that I gain, I'm definitely gonna do my part and make sure, that people can see that there is a person out there that is in the mix doing music, whether it's sexy R&B or just classy. It's like I'm still carrying myself with the knowledge that, the way I move can either affect somebody in a negative way or positive way. Because little kids, they look up to that. They're like, oh yeah, he got this, he got that, he doing this. Maybe I can do that.
Right. And it's what we're showing them. What has been the most emotional moment on tour so far? A fan, a story, or a performance that stayed with you?
Oh my gosh, the Apollo for sure. That happened earlier this year. I was like, man, I can't believe I'm here, solo. Because the last time I was there was with Second Nature back in '95,
Mhm.
and to do the Apollo Cafe, a very intimate setting, and deliver a Luther Vandross tribute that I don't know, it's like it doesn't get any better than that.
Amazing, amazing. Voice that carries that old school soul mixed with a seasoned control. What are the rituals, habits, or spiritual practices that keep your voice so strong after 3 decades?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the for people out there performing or who wish to perform on a regular basis, the more you do it, especially if you can sing and you do have the knowledge of singing properly, your voice will last. You don't want to be trying too hard. But for me, I'm always like when I do a show, I got my tea, I got my throat coat, I got my nebulizer. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff, and I take it seriously so that up until the show happens, everything is ready. After the show, I can turn up, but
Right.
when it comes to the show, I'm very focused, and singing. I still try to get in some vocal exercises, but mostly it's just using the gift, singing and practicing, doing different styles and different songs just to keep the range popping.
Love it. I love it. How has your vocal style evolved from the 90s until now?
It's funny you say that. So one of my buddies on Facebook posted a video of me singing um, "Here and Now" at his wedding, and I listened to how I used to sing. I was like, I sound nothing like I sound like now. I don't even know what would have happened if I sounded like I did today singing that at the wedding. Definitely got some seasoning on my voice from many years of singing. But yeah, it's crazy because from the '90s, you're always inspired by different artists and the sound that
Right.
was Eddie Riley and Babyface and Jimmy Jam. All that stuff was '90s heavy. Um, for me, my biggest, I was a huge fan of Joe, so a lot of my sound kind of morphed into that kind of vibe, and
Right.
um, uh, it was just like anything that sounded cool, I just loved. So and now that I'm older, I'm coming back home to the old school.
Amazing. If you could describe your voice today using 3 words, what would they be?
Smooth, velvety, and strong.
All right, all right. You've released multiple albums on iTunes and Spotify. Which body of work feels the most you and why?
Yeah, interesting. I definitely would say the newest, well, not the, but the newest release, "Amazing." That song really is a testament to producers hearing what I can do and my voice, and really creating a sound around who I am to like introduce the new version of Darnel Alexander to people. I think that song really encapsulated not only like how I'm really trying to come out, because I want people to know that this is my sound, very reminiscent of the Luther and Peeble Bryce and Teddy Pendergrass, but
I
it's still
love
me. It's
those.
me, distinctively. But yeah.
All the favorites, all the favorites. With the viral success and renewed fan base, are you working on new music, new albums, or a new sound for this next chapter?
Okay, so I have a lot of stuff in the pot, and with the advent of all this AI and AI music and stuff, what I want to do is I want to recreate something that's gonna obviously not throw people off, because I like different vibes.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just gonna. I mean, yeah, I hope to have something fresh and new by spring summer.
You actually have a new project, a collaboration. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, so this new song, "I'll Give You My All" with Omar Wilson. Super happy and proud of that song as well. I think it was an opportunity for me to shine in a different way.
Mhm.
Um, it reminds me when I hear this song, it's like a combination of like "Feel the Fire" by Peeble Bryson.
Mhm.
When he first comes right out, something that you told me. stayed in my head. Like I wanted to come out really strong.
Yeah, keep going.
I'm trying not to wake the babies.
I
I'm
thought
singing
we was
soft.
about to get a concert.
I'm singing soft, but that was what I was really feeling with this song. So when I hit that first verse, it's like out the gate, I want people to know, like, I'm here, and it's a new sound that maybe you haven't heard before, and but it's still that old school R&B that we all love.
Okay, so what message do you want your music to deliver today, especially in a time where people crave authenticity and healing?
I'm definitely letting them know it's real and live, not was it not Memorex? You know what I'm saying? But I definitely want people to know I'm still going to bring the real. I'm going to bring in what I do recorded. I can, definitely bring live and then some. So I want people to know that they're getting, not only authentic vocals and production, but it's something that when they're paying to come see me sing, it's going to be that plus some other sweetness that they might have missed.
I love it. Your career had highs, breaks, comebacks, doors opening, doors closing. What kept you going during the quiet seasons?
Through all the ups and downs of life, I always try to work on myself and my mental. And it always comes back to what's in my heart and my soul. And the deepest parts of me is music. So whether I feel like something is gonna, pop off majorly with my career or not, I'm like, you know what? I just love to sing and I love to record. Just do that. And then let God do his work, move the puzzle pieces.
I love that. What do you want young artists, especially young Black men in R&B, to learn from your longevity?
Number one, stay authentic, like you said. Always be true to who you are as a person. People don't understand. I think a lot of people, and especially as Black men, don't understand that the fake facade is not what people are attracted to. It's that unique, different part of you that like your mother gets to see, your family gets to see, the smile, the laugh, the
Right.
weirdness, and if you're nerdy, that's what people really gravitate towards. And when you're trying to build a fan base, you're building it based on you, like the real you. People do care what you go through, the ups and downs and everything. And if
Yeah.
if they know they're getting a solid, authentic person that is real to the core, they're gonna stick with you through thick and thin.
That's right. That's right. Okay. What do you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of your career?
That I could take matters into my own hands.
Or not to take matters into your own hands. Which one?
Look, the difference is when I first started, it's everything is what you don't know. You're just doing what you think you know. And what happened? Did I lose you? There
No.
you are. Um, when I was younger, I was just really eager, hungry, but what I would tell the young artists of today is the patience will pay off. You really need the patience because a lot of times, as you've heard, these artists are so hungry and they're so thirsty to make it. They'll just sign on the dotted line, whatever. They'll do
They
anything.
will sign the death slide.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so important to be, and it's really important to just really care and be thoughtful about what you want to bring into your world and your circle, you
Yeah.
know, everything. So that's really key.
Okay, what do you want your legacy to be? Not just as a singer, but as
Yeah.
a man.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, number one, the best father ever. That part right there.
Very important.
I put that number one in my
That's
whole
it right
world.
there.
Yeah, I put that number one in my whole world of being in essence is that, and then everything else is second. Um, Legacy of just being a good person who cares about people and who wanted to just, besides entertaining, I just want people to be happy and to know that being authentic and true to yourself is the best place to be. That's that being home, wherever you go.
What do you hope people feel when they hear your voice 50 years from now?
I hope they still get like a little magic or a memory. When I hear like the old school tunes or the crackle of an old school record, I'm like, it just takes me right back. That's really, I think the goal of any true musician is to create pieces of material that can transport people back in time and make them feel exactly how good they felt when the first time they heard it.
All right. If your career had a title, a book or documentary, what would it be called?
It would probably be called like Underdog. I just thought of that just right there.
And finally, what's next? What do you have coming up? Tours, new
Yeah.
recordings, collaborations, a Luther tribute album, a documentary. What's next, and how can we stay tuned to what you have coming up?
Number one, you can stay tuned by following my social. I'm very active, and I try to respond to people as much as I can before it gets out of control. So TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube is Darnel Alexander Music, Darnel with one L. Be sure to follow the account that has, the highest number of followers. There's so many fake profiles out there, which I don't understand why people just, but
That
that's just
means you made it. If they got fake profiles on you, that means you made it.
yeah, they're trying to capitalize on people. So I don't ask anything from anyone except support. Period. And I only have one page for each one. And um, yeah, so that's how they can reach me. And then as far as what's next, it's going to be the biggest thing that's coming up is next March. I'll be in the UK, so that'll be my first international performance.
Hey,
Um,
okay.
you know, so I'm really excited about that. That'll be March 19th through the 23rd. We got a few locations, and I've been posting on there because people are like, "Where? How do I get tickets?" I just as soon as I get it, you'll get it. But that's going to be quite an interesting experience. I think that would really kind of put the icing on the cake of everything that I've done to
Right.
perform for people in other countries, right?
Right, right. We have a fan base in the UK, WWETV UK. So
Oh, they're gonna be ready to go. I mean, they're chopping at the bit already. So I'm just excited to bring them some old school R&B, some entertainment, new school stuff, whatever they want.
I love it, and I'm looking forward to the future of Mr. Darnell Alexander and hearing and seeing more from you. And thank you so much for joining us live on WWETV. We have a live coming up with Mr. Omar Wilson.
Yeah,
You guys are just putting the R&B icing on the cake today.
yeah. I mean, him and I on that duet, I think we really bring back that old '90s vibe, but still with the new school flavor
Right.
of it.
Is definitely a hit record, and I appreciate that good music and
Yeah, big
keep
shout out
it
to Omar
coming.
Wilson. So yeah, he's a good guy, and we collaborated very well on that project. So
That's amazing. And thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure.
thank you, thank you. I'm glad. I can't wait to get to ATL and back to New York.
All right. Mr. Darnell Alexander, Worldwide Entertainment TV. You heard it here. Make sure you go follow him
All right.
and be at its finest.
Thanks for watching Worldwide Entertainment TV. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out more videos right here on the channel. We've got a lot more coming your way.